what's going on, everybody? Very excited about this one today. It's something that, you know, since they've been around, I've always kind of wanted. I just never could see it spend the money on. Everybody knows, if you've been following along, that to get all my items in the smaller Trigger Platinum sump, I ran out of space as far as fitting my Refacto Elite protein skimmer in there. So I wanted to get a more compact protein skimmer and put in the tank, and I looked at a lot of options, and I'm gonna go ahead, you know, and kind of do my little rambling here, and also do an unboxing. Some people might want to see it, some people might want to go ahead and skip ahead in the video, but for anybody that wants to hear it, I looked at skimmers. I looked at NIOS, and that's a very popular skimmer, but I kind of wanted to stick with a DC pump. I like the adjustability there, you know, to scale with different tanks and all. So they're also, you know, more efficient, less power, usually quieter, even though everybody says the NIOS is really quiet. So I kind of canceled that one out just for the fact of not having the DC pump as AC. I looked, there's a lot of recommendations for Bubble Magus, I don't know how you really say that. They're cheaper, and they're supposed to be really good protein skimmers. Just saw some mixed reviews on them as well, so I don't know, I just really wasn't sold on it. Then I looked at Aquamax, and then one of the YouTube channels I watch, Shallow Reefing, he got a couple of those in that were both busted when he got them in. Really poor packaging, you know, on his, so I kind of wanted to stay away from those. So let's see, what else I look at. Then I went back to Reef Octopus. Well, I've always looked at them, because if you followed along, I had a Reef Octopus Classic 5 or 6 years ago on that tank, on that 90 gallon. And then I just had the Elite on this tank. Really good skimmers, nothing wrong with them. It's just what I looked at. I originally wanted to do another Elite, and when you get the Elite, I think it's a 160, in the compact size to where the pump is inside the skimmer, it jumps up another, I think, $100-something for that. And then at that price point, well, let me just say what I was looking at. With the Royal Exclusiv, which I've always liked and always wanted to try, but they're super expensive, so I never did want to spend the money on it. I go on the website, and Bulk Resupply had $100 off this. So then I looked at the Reef Octopus, and the price for that skimmer, for the compact size one, it was, I think, less than $100 difference between that one and this. So getting that close in range, you know, I was like, well, why not just go ahead and do, I mean, I won't say like a dream skimmer, because I don't really know, I've never had one, but I've always wanted one. So why not, for the price difference, just go ahead and try one of these out. So I ended up getting it. It's DC pump. It's the Red Dragon pumps, which are well known. This is a German engineered skimmer. It's supposed to be just super high quality. They're supposed to last a really long time. I've never seen anything negative about them, like in forums and things. So yeah, we're going to try it out and see how it works, and if it lives up to its name. So you know, I'll do future updates and things like that as it's been in use, but for now I'm going to do the unboxing, get it set up and get it in the tank, and we'll do kind of initial thoughts here. One thing that I wish this included, that I'm a big fan of, the Refacto Elite had the float, or the mechanical cutoff switch in it when the cup filled. I am a huge fan of that because years ago when I had older protein skimmers, a lot of times, you know, there'd be fluctuations in the tank maybe, and sometimes it'd start producing some wetter skim or more skim, and or I just wasn't paying attention and it would spill over into my sump. Well, I love that safety feature there so that it kills the skimmer. This, for the money, should have that, you would think. I'm not sure why it doesn't. You know, I guess they have their reasons. Maybe they just don't find it that necessary, but it's something I really like. So I ordered another piece to add to it, which brings the total up another $50. But, you know, that's, I almost wasn't looking at money anymore on it at that point, but I'd actually put in the order for the skimmer first, and then really started thinking about that side of it and how I really wanted to get something to deal with that. So I started looking at options, and I started looking at the adding like a Neptune mechanical switch, float switch, and that'd be like buying another module and then the switch and then trying to get in there. It might not fit. I might have to drill it and all that type of stuff. Then I looked around and found this guy. So this looks really cool. The wire part doesn't go inside the skimmer cup. It's just a magnetic eye, and the eye goes inside and the cable will be on the outside. Cuts it off when it detects something, you know, hit the side eye. A little more info there. Plug and play, magnetic sensor, auto time delay, specifications. Okay, so I got this guy to help prevent overflows. All right, so let me, I can't really do it one-handed. I'm gonna cut the tape on the box, and then we'll look at how it's packaged in here. And you know, for the price on these things, I'm expecting everything to be top-notch. So we will see how it goes. Okay, just open the tops to it, lids. A couple of pieces of cardboard just laid on top here. Take those off. It has the instruction manual in like a Ziploc type bag. Put that to the side. It has some packing peanuts in here. Let's see if I can get my fingers around this. Okay, here's our pump. Red Dragon. We have a separate manual for it. And it also has the, oh yeah, the intake. And this one is ozone safe, of course. Okay, so we're not the pump, this is the controller. All right, let's set this to the side. And then I have watched kind of the short unboxing thing that BRS did. So they kind of have a video on this as well, but doing my own thing here. Okay, I hate packing peanuts. I'm trying to get this stuff out. Let's see what's the best way. All right, that's gonna take two hands, but you can see how it's like kind of packaged in the box. Looks like it's pretty safe and secure. Okay, I got that next layer pulled out. It's kind of odd, you know, maybe the packing peanuts were just kind of in certain locations, but it's kind of weird to have all that cardboard around it. And then what I would consider not enough really packing peanuts or foam pieces or whatever to actually do much. But they're just kind of in there, so I don't know. All right, let's lift it out. Okay. All right, so, well, maybe it does. I mean, they're all up underneath it and all that stuff. All right, slide the box out of the way. Of course, they come in a really nice like bag. And let's see, pull the strings. All right, let me get this out of the bag. Okay, so in plastic, taped up, got their logo there on top. Still pretty, you know, pretty good size, pretty large. And you know, just another side note. So this one is for the bio load, I guess you would call it. It's rated anywhere from 70 to, I think it was 130 gallons. I looked at the next size up, and then I talked to customer service, and they said that with the fleece roller and already having like really low nutrient levels, to get, you know, the smaller. So they recommended that I do this size, the 160 versus the 180. So, or if I got that backward, no, this is the 180, I think, versus the 200, I believe it was. So anyway, this is the size that they recommended I get. They said the other one would just be overkill, so it works out because I wanted the smallest footprint I can get, but my measurements, I think this will fit in there fine. All right, let's get the plastic off. Okay, plastic off. For the most part, this thing is fully assembled and ready to go. All you do is put the little intake piece on the pump, which comes in the box with the controller. It's got your little sealed waterproof connection to go to the controller. It's supposed to be a heavier thickness or heavier type acrylic. Just turn it around so you can see everything in there. And water comes out the bottom there, so in the front and then out in the back, which is pretty cool because, you know, on the Reef Octopus, the pump sits on the side of the unit, and the way the output tube is, it kind of, I don't know, it makes it go out the water exit at like an angle. So this one seems pretty cool. It comes out like the bottom on the reverse side. So that's pretty neat design. Tuning it, water level adjustment. And it's got notches, even though they're not numbered, which I think would be, you know, kind of helpful, but it is what it is. All right, let me get the tape off. Oh, and just real quick, another little note. So the bottom plate, they use titanium screws to hold the plate on. And then it has little rubber feet for noise and all as well. Okay, so all the tape's off. Air holes, pretty thick. And this one, I'm trying to set this cover somewhere. It says this inside insert piece, it's actually got a seal on it, but it's removable for cleaning. One thing I'm not so sure on with this, the collector cup, I like the skimmers when you actually have a twist motion to it to lock it down so that it couldn't come off. And this one is heavy, and I'm sure they know what they're doing and been making skimmers forever. So, but it's just kind of odd to me. It just sits on there. Now this does have a O-ring up in there, but I mean, it just really sits there and relies on the weight, I guess, to keep it from leaking or anything come out there. So, I mean, which this piece is pretty heavy. It actually feels like it might be weighted somehow. So, I mean, I know that'll be fine, just something I wanted to point out. All right, let me get the intake on and let's work on getting this in the tank. Okay, and then the controller for this, very lightweight. Seems pretty nice. It doesn't quite feel, with the Reef Octopus, I don't know, it felt even lighter and cheaper. It's kind of hard to describe that. This one just feels like a better quality. I don't know, it's smoother and just, that might be kind of silly to some, but it just feels different. Maybe it's all in my head knowing how much this costs. But one connection to the pump and then one power in. All right, let's get this on, let's get this installed. Okay, tight fit. So it barely did fit in my sump. It's almost touching the bottom of the reactor. It actually was touching, and the reactor was making a little vibration noise when it was touching it, so I moved it, which now is touching that valve. But I can reconfigure some stuff. But anyway, got it in here. The cutoff is pretty cool, and actually, so it's just magnetic, like clip on, whatever, pop on. The wire to it, I don't know how many feet this is, I'll look in the instructions, but it's a pretty long cable, so you can run it wherever you need to. Let me just see if I see right offhand how long it is. It has like all these power specs and things, but I don't see how long the cable is. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna run it around the skimmer. I don't think I want it like kind of hanging over the back there. I think I'm gonna run it kind of in this little channel around the front and get the cabling installed that way. So yeah, let's get it connected here and we'll get it running. All right, it took me a couple minutes to get everything going. One, I couldn't run the cable for the pump around the front because it was too short, so I ended up having to run it through the back, which is fine. I did run the sensor around the front because it was long enough. Yeah, I plugged it in and I thought maybe I got a bad unit for a minute, but the light on the sensor plug was flashing blue, and I looked it up and it said bad connection between the magnet, and the sensor, or needs to be cleaned. So I kind of just shifted it around a little bit and it kicked on. So then it started working. So let's see, this is what we got so far with it stirring stuff up in the sump. I didn't clean it out. I should have cleaned the sump back out first, but I was kind of excited and just went ahead and stuck it in here. Another note, my outside air tube that I was running is 3/8 and it does not fit this. This is bigger. I'm not sure what size that is, but the tube doesn't fit on there. I don't know whether I'm just going to get an adapter to make it work, or if I'm going to try to just use a hair dryer and heat up the tube a little bit and see if I can get a slide over that. Not really sure yet. So next thing, I'm going to try to get this adjusted a little bit, and we'll go from there. The controller, it just hangs on a single screw on the back wall there. Looks pretty cool. I'm not sure the ins and outs of that yet. Looks like it's, I guess, running at full blast. So going to adjust that down, probably start out with about half and then adjust the level, and then we'll go from there. All right, so up and going, I was just kind of looking at the manual a little bit. It says the ideal water depth is 210 millimeters, which is roughly 8 inches. I think that I'll have to get the measuring tape back out, but I think that was the recommended water level for the Reef Octo as well. So I think that's where I'm at, but I'll check that and make sure I'm in close range. A lot of times people say that skimmers require a break-in period. So in the manual, it kind of says the breakout point, which is the foam point. Let's see how many, and everything's in centimeters. It says on this one that you want it 4 centimeters below the strip line is what they're calling it. So you want it 4 centimeters away from the cup. So I'll kind of adjust that out and kind of work with getting everything, work out all the kinks here and get it going. Yeah, for now, I'm just going to fidget with it and give it some time to break in. It does note on here, let's see, about putting an oil. Let me see, where did it say? Sorry, I'm reading. I don't know where I saw it. I'll get back to that. It said, you know, you might want to coat the inside of the cup with an oil, a skimmer oil, to keep the particles from sticking to the inner walls. So I've never done that before, and I'm not sure what is safe to use for that. I'm going to look into that as well. Other than that, let me know if you have any questions about it. I mean, I'm always glad to answer anything that I can. You know, like I said, a lot of this is a learning process because I've never had this brand skimmer before. If you followed all my videos, you know, been in saltwater tanks. I'm just saying, repeating some information here, but I've been in saltwater tanks for 20 plus years. But within the past, let's see, about 8 to 10 years ago, somewhere in that range, was the first time I ever had any kind of coral, so anything other than just fish. And in that last tank, I had some leathers and softies, things like that. I didn't have any stonies, and I didn't have any hard to keep corals, and I wasn't testing alkalinity or dosing or anything like that with that tank. So with this tank build is a first for me in a lot of areas. So this is my first time doing all the different kinds of testing. Before, all I watched was like nitrates. Now, you know, I'm doing a lot more testing, I'm doing dosing, and I'm wanting to gear this tank up for SPS. So we'll see. I try to share all my experiences with everybody, and I know I do a whole lot of rambling in my videos. I apologize for that. Some people have called me out on it. Some people say they enjoy, you know, just the dialogue about everything and what's going on. So, you know, you can't please everybody, so I apologize. I try to do what I can and make the videos somewhat useful. But anyway, that's going to wrap this video up. In future updates, you know, I will let you know how this thing's doing, any issues that I run into, and any kind of experiences I have with it. Hopefully it's going to work out pretty good. It is a pretty tight fit. You can see I can go back just a little bit further if I want it sitting against the wall back there. Pretty tight fit. But I have everything I want in here. Look at all the stuff that roller mat pulls out. Man. And for anybody that's following along with that, I did take a piece of cardboard and put in the back roll holder to keep it pushed this way, and that seems to help keep it from bunching up on that end. Like I said before, you know, with what this thing costs, you shouldn't have that issue and shouldn't have to modify anything to make it work correctly, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so stay tuned for updates. Thanks for watching.